you will come. Fulani never visit. Next of them, they can never imagine. They never in a million years. So they can bribe anybody, can buy anybody, offer him a jet, give him money, tell him, promise him good life with his family, anywhere he wants. Promise him a house, mansion, oil well, anything he wants. Give him this money. So you can buy. Man, you can buy them. They're very weak. You can buy all of them. You do well. The line of nobility, where you have noble men that do not sell their conscience. You, my father, you will testify to what I'm telling you. Ask those that knew him, they will tell you who he is. Noble people, they do not compromise. And then we came, or should I say, Chukwukabiyama determined that we should come at this time to save you. Not just to save Igbo people, not just to save BPO, not to save EFIC alone, not to save a job, not I stick to principle. No one can push me over. Not in a marriage, not in my family, not in politics, not in the social circle. I'm no pushover. The pushover. And I'm not going to allow anyone. We are not in a competition with each other. And I've made it very clear to Floyd. The day you get tired of me, don't go and organize against me. Just tell me, I think you have served your term. It is time to go. I will leave without putting up a fight because I will know it's a friendly fire and it comes from a good place. The problem starts when you start organizing against me, and I hear it in the corners. I'm very ruthless against people who do such things to me. So never try that with me. And he knows that because I've never lost a conference. I prepare my exit. That's why I will never trouble you. When they expelled me, I never put up a fight. I went to farm cabbages and they followed me. And once you follow me, I told you, do not conspire against me in the corners because I will plan my comeback. And when I do so, I'm very ruthless. I don't play games. And I do so without hesitation. I tell you on your face, a war is being declared. Look at the human being buying a president of 450,000 sheep, and you think you don't know where that money comes from. You only know about your money. Please tell my son that I'm the richest man in the world. He's dead. What do you mean? I say, I only know my bank balance. I don't want to know any other person's bank balance. After knowing it, what must I do with it? At your own pace, do not compete. Be a trendsetter. To do that, you have no break. If there is a wealth you are enjoying today and it was accumulated within a short space of time, you must know you will never enjoy it. Proper wealth is the one that you must sweat and work for it. Because business is not popcorn. Thing that you build in your mind, you conceptualize it, and you realize it and see it grow. Only when you can stay in Johannesburg and you have business in Polokwane, and you don't have to be in Polokwane for a business to run, then you must know I've got business. But you can leave your business because when you leave, it is likely to collapse. It's not business, it's self-employment.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone and depending from where you're watching us from. This is Biafra Watchman TV. We are live and we are direct. We are here to bring you the gospel of redemption, and we are here to speak the bitter truths. And we are also here to set the record straight. If today is the first time of coming across our video and you like the way we are propagating the gospel of freedom, please subscribe, like, and share. All right, as you can see the title of this program, this late hour program. Sorry that I'm not video. I didn't open my camera. I'm somewhere. I went out of my base. I said, let me just come live, to talk to my people based on the MNK case that is coming tomorrow. Where I am, I'm not comfortable to come video. I'm not comfortable to come video. That's why I decided to come, via audio anyhow. All right. As you can see the write up, as you can see the topic I'm about to tweet about the forthcoming of MNK case that will go tomorrow. You know, what you guys have to understand is this. Like what Nigerian Senate said, they've all decided on how the case gonna be. They've decided, they've decided the outcome of the case. And even MNK himself knows that, man, even MNK himself knows that such a thing will happen. He knows very well. He knows very, very, very well. That is why he said there was a time he was interviewed and he was asked, you've been in this solitary confinement for 2 years or 3 years then. How did he feel? He said, well, I've stayed here close to 4 years now. That the fifth year will not buy him. You get a point. So he himself understood what he's into. And if you can listen to the audio I played, MNK audio and Julius Malema Jojo audio I played, you will understand one thing. That these two noble men has one thing in common, which is integrity. You can't fight for freedom. You can't fight for liberation. You cannot be a revolutionist without having integrity. The paramount thing, the paramount thing that a freedom fighter ought to have is integrity. And these two men, coupled with Ibrahim Jore, these guys has integrity. So what I'm telling Biafrans these early hours of Tuesday morning, because here where I am now, we are in early hours of Tuesday. The reason why I come to this live broadcast is to tell Biafrans that whatever that comes out in today's, because today is Tuesday already, we've entered Tuesday. Whatever comes out of the gods today, we are used to it anyways. Just know that it's bound to happen. You know, one of my friend is a Yoruba guy and he's into politics. He told me one thing. He said sometimes he feel pity for Igbos who are running helter skelter on how MNK will be released. He told me in confidence that the Yorubas, the APC, especially Yoruba, especially Tinubu campaign team, they've concluded because as you can see what is going on between the Fulani, because when they talk about northern politics, it's all about Fulani. They said they will use MNK in 2027 election to bargain political power and political vote from eastern Nigeria because they're having, they are not in that good rapport with the northern bloc, which is Fulani. They are not in good terms with them. So, where they will switch in 2027 is the eastern bloc, eastern Nigeria. So now they kept MNK where he is today. That is why they are not talking about his release. At least you all heard what the Senate said, their resolution, that they are not willing to release MNK based on political solution. So I've known this before now, that this is what is bound to happen. This is what is bound to happen. Because this guy told me in confidence, said, me myself, I know he's an APC, card carrier member. He told me in confidence that we should forget about MNK coming out soon, as we are expecting. That they've kept him to use him to bargain for Eastern votes because come 2026 to 2027, Tinubu will use him as his campaign mantra that if Igbos or Biafrans should elect him back into an office, he will release MNK. Biafrans, what I'm telling you guys, take this word to the bank. This is what they've planned on MNK release. That's the gospel truth. Please, just like and share the video. Very important. Like and share the video. Like and share the video. Like, very important. Like and share the video. Please, so that others will hear this intel. I'm coming out to give Biafrans. Because it's not today the guy gave me this intel. But when I saw, Aloy Jimako update on MNK, court case, and Biafrans are hoping that something will happen maybe tomorrow or subsequent days, they've stipulated that MNK will appear in Nigerian courts. So I now decide to come out to tell Biafrans what I know about MNK case. You know, what I know about the case. They've concluded, they've decided, please like and share, very important. Like and share, so that others will get this update. This is why I just come late to do this broadcast, because tomorrow, or today rather, where I am, because we've entered Tuesday, is MNK court case. So I decided to come live to tell Biafrans what I know about the the court case or the release of MNK. They've decided they will use MNK to play politics, to campaign for 2027, so that he will be re-elected. One of the Fulani political pundits was asked about this very government. He was so furious, and the journalist now asked him, "But Chetima is the vice president." You know what the guy asked the journalist? He now asked him, "So if you are to say, you will say, or you believe that Chetima is actually the vice president of that damn nation called Nigeria?" The journalist now told him, "Yes, of course. Everybody knows that Chetima is the vice president." The man now told him, "Anyways, he's vice president indeed." He now said, "So he don't know that Sheyi Tinubu is the vice president of Nigeria. So he don't know that Sheyi Tinubu is the vice president of Nigeria." He now asked him, in the history of Nigeria, that he should mention the name of the president or the head of state that have ruled Nigeria, that the son go on political function with the kind of convoy Sheyi Tinubu used to go out with. The journalist was looking at him. He said, "Yes, that from every indication that the facts are out there that the vice president of Nigeria is Sheyi Tinubu." He now told the journalist that ever since Tinubu has been traveling, have seen Shetima, you know, carried out executive function as it ought to be when president, goes out of the country, that the next person in charge is the vice president. Has he seen where Shetima carried out executive function as the person that the president hand over power to? The Fulani guy said it's not so. It's not so. So now, Fulani and the Yorubas, they are having somehow issue politically. And you all could be able to witness they've accused Tinubu of, being selective in running his government. That most of all the whole offices, they are all occupied by Yorubas. That he's tribal, that Tinubu is tribal in his administration. You know, but one thing, you see this life is so funny indeed. But when they caught Buhari was in power, the same thing. That is why we are complaining then that this guy called Buhari, even after he died, the impostor they were using, he followed the same template by colonizing every political post, every, offices in the corridors of power in Nigeria, they Fulanized it that they make sure that Fulani occupy every sensitive positions. They occupied every sensitive position. Now we are saying then that this guy have led a very dangerous precedent. And today we are saying it. The one called Tinubu followed the same precedent. Followed the same precedent. He has Yorubalized every political office. Even some of the things, some of the capital projects, the federal government of that nation are executing. It excluded Igbos. The same thing the one that left office was doing. The same thing. So what I'm saying in a nutshell is this. Biafrans, we shouldn't put our hope where there is no hope. That's the gospel truth. We shouldn't put our hope where there is no hope. They've concluded and they've agreed that they will use MNK for political campaign on their forthcoming election. But, well, they should pray that Nigeria still remain one before 2027. There's this latest prophecy of Iginla. To me, most of the prophets in Nigeria, to me, I believe that they are doing arranging prophecy. But Iginla, if at all he's using magical power to, to prophesy, I will tell you in confidence that that magical power he's using is really working for him. That magical power, if at all he's using magical power, allegedly, if at all he's using magical power, that magical power is working for him. What will befall Nigeria? Nigeria cannot comprehend it. They will be asking themselves, what is even happening? Who is doing this thing to us? Have Russia encroached our territory? Biafra, this thing I'm saying today, just mark this word. Definitely it must come to pass. It must. It must come to pass. What is mightier than Nigeria is about to be before them. They will be asking themselves. At first, they will think it's Boko Haram. Later, they will say it's Biafra Liberation Army. They will be totally confused of what is happening to them. As Igila said, I want you guys to go and, watch Igila latest prophecy. Save that prophecy. What the man prophesied in that prophecy is very clear and nothing but the truth. Nothing but the truth. It will certainly come to pass. Certainly. That I can show you guys. It will certainly come to pass. So, that's why I was telling some people when they were shouting Simon Eba, Simon Eba, Simon Eba, Simon Eba is responsible for this, Simon Eba is responsible for that. They were shouting Simon Eba. I told them, they were saying, if Simon Eba could be arrested and release MNK, it would be better for them. Now you all heard the resolution of Nigerian Senate on MNK matter. You all heard. Now they are now pushing for extradition of Simon Eba to Nigeria, which I know the possibility is very rare unless Finland want to grab natural resources like all other Europeans are doing in Africa or in Nigeria. unless they want to grab resources, because the laws, the laws that governs European nation, if they should follow law, it's not possible. It's not possible. But but like they said, it's the West. So long as Finland belongs to the Western nation, these guys, they are unpredictable. They are unpredictable. You can't predict them. Please, I would like you guys to like and share. Please, to like and share. Very important. I would have gone visual, but where I am now, I wouldn't. I cannot. Where I am now, I'm not in my home. I'm not in my base. That's why I'm not coming visual, so that you can be seeing me. But I believe you can hear my voice very clearly. You can hear my voice. Please like and share this broadcast. Like and share this broadcast, please. I want to have good. Just 7 people are watching this broadcast. For what I'm seeing here, please like and share the video so that others will join. Others will join. I never planned coming live, but based on information I got, and it's not today I got information about what the damnation called Nigeria have planned with MNK. I decided to come live to tell Biafrans so that we'll focus in fight for our liberation. No need of putting hope where there is no hope. No need of believing that they will release MNK in this very, court case, or as Mintanyako was removed from trying MNK, that the one in charge now will release MNK. So I'm coming to tell Biafrans that MNK, as that political prisoner he is, they want to use him to play politics. That's nothing but the truth. That's the gospel truth. So I have to tell Biafrans the reality so that they will know. They will know the reality. What I'm saying is nothing but the truth. The last thing I will do is to come live here to tell you guys lies. I cannot do so. I cannot do so. So MNK himself knows that as a freedom fighter, this is what he has to see in his fight or quest for the liberation of his people. That is why he said he's not worried. That he has said he has stayed in solitary confinement almost 4 years. That the 50th year will not buy him. He knows this very, very well. So I'm urging Biafrans to continue in the fight. You cannot compare now that MNK is in the hands of the oppressor than that of 2015. And MNK said something when he was, arrested the first time. He said, "You arrested me, and the foundation of Nigeria, the foundation of Nigeria was shaking. That the second time you arrest me, that will be the complete dismantling of Nigeria." And they've arrested him the second time. And one thing we ought to understand is this: in freedom fighting, anytime the leader is arrested or kidnapped by the oppressor, just know that the liberation of those people is at hand. The longer the oppressor keeps the leader in their custody, the nearer their freedom comes. Let me tell you guys, we are the people that will release MNK. I could remember where Dr. Sho Ayaba came to Radio Biafra. He was asked then, DOS, they quickly invited him, thinking that he would come to Radio Biafra to speak in their favor. When he came, he told them, they asked him that Sissoko, who is the main leader of the Ambazonia, is in Cameroon custody. What is he doing to liberate him from that Cameroon, custody? He's also in solitary confinement, like MNK. Now, Dr. Shoyaba told them, said, Sissoko will be released the day Ambazonia is freed from Cameroon or from La Republic regime. That's the day Sissoko will be freed. So they now geared towards fighting for the liberation of Ambazonia. Funny enough, today, Shuayaba is in the custody of Norway authority. We all saw the write-up or the message he sent to Ambazonians. Very courageous message. Very, very courageous message. If you listen to the message, you will know that indeed this guy is a freedom fighter. This guy is a revolutionist, because one thing about revolutionaries is this: there's the way they talk, they have language. Once a revolutionist talk, you know indeed this one is a revolutionist. This one is a freedom fighter, like Julius Malema. When you hear Julius Malema speak, you know need a Susoya to tell you that this one is a revolutionist, is a freedom fighter. So Biafrans, we have to do what? We have to triple our fight for the liberation of Biafra. We are the only people that will liberate them again from where he is. How many times has he won or defeated Nigeria in their own courts? How many times? He has challenged them several times that in their own court he would defeat them. And he has done so. He has done so. Before now, we are seeing all manner of things that he is a proscribed leader of indigenous people of Biafra, saying all manner of things against his person and against IPOB and Biafra. Even before now, when he was a free man, he told them right in their own court he would defeat them. Now, ever since they got hold of him, ever since they kidnapped him, he has defeated them sequentially in their own court. Now, to release him is a problem to them. Please like and share, please. The viewers I'm seeing here is not encouraging me, please. The time here where I am now is almost 6 in the morning, but I'm still awake. I'm still awake to pass this message. Please, I would like you guys who are watching me to share the video, to share the program, so that other people will join. Other people will join. It will encourage me. It will encourage me. Please, I want others to join. I want people to join. I would have come vigil, but where I am now, I'm not in my base. I went to another city, and where I am now, I cannot, I'm not in a comfortable place to make live video. That's why I decided to come on you, so that I will pass this very message. So for you guys to encourage me, I want you guys to share the program, please. Share it in different WhatsApp groups you belong to. I want you guys to share the video and like, very important, so that YouTube will distribute the video. Okay, I've not slept. The time here is almost 6 in the morning. I'm still awake. Please, I want you guys to encourage me by sharing the video, so that others can, see that I'm live. So it's left for us to fight for the release of MNK. Very important. We are in a freedom fighting. Freedom fighting is not a child's play. I've said it in yesterday and today. We had some, well, I will not call it an argument. We had a discussion about freedom fighting. And I told them, look, freedom fighting is a very serious business. This is a fight that if you survive it, your name will be written in the book of history. Do you know what it means? We often read about people, often read about people. Each time you are reading history about people, because you know, when we are in school, we talk about when they taught us about literature. What is about literature is this: literature will make you to one, for you to be a good, you know, linguistic person, or for you to be a good literature person. One, each time you are reading a write-up of a writer, you must understand the mind of the writer. That's number one thing. You must understand the mind of the writer. You must vision the position or the state of the mind of the writer. Why am I saying this thing? If you're reading about the history of people, or reading, the accounts of people, if you have not positioned yourself in a situation in a way that you will visualize the person's quality, the person's state of mind, while putting up the write-up, you've not started. Why am I saying this thing? What we are doing today, we are creating history. We are creating history. If people who lived in analog age, if we can read their history today, how much more we that is living in AI generation, we are writing our name in history. Which role are you playing in this very dispensation of history? Which role are you playing? It's very, very, very important. Very important. Take fight for Biafra very serious. You might think that you are not on social platforms, that nobody will know that you fight for Biafra freedom. So long as you belong to WhatsApp group, sometimes there was a voice note I made many years ago, like 4 years ago. People I belong in the same platforms, they reposted the voice note I made many years ago, 4 years ago. I was asking myself, does it mean that this guy just did this voice note after 4 years? After 4 years, he now reposted the voice note I made. So don't think that you don't have social platforms like YouTube, Facebook, whatever, that nobody knows you. That very WhatsApp groups you belong, you don't know who is saving the voice notes you are making. You don't know people. You don't know who is saving it. And this generation will have a lot of devices. One can save data and information. So I urge you to fight this fight with your soul and your heart. I I urge you to fight this fight with your soul and heart. One thing is certain. You see this Biafra, it has been ordained that it must come to pass, and it will come in this very generation. We cannot pass this fight to the next generation because I don't think that the next generation can be able to fight this fight. Honestly speaking, if you are up to 30 years, if you're up to 30 years, there are some certain things that you will be seeing on social media. If you're up to 30 years, there are some certain things you'll be seeing on social media. You'll be telling yourself that when you were growing up, you're not seeing all these things. This thing never existed in your own time. But in this very dispensation, you are seeing it. You are seeing it in this year very dispensation. In this very dispensation. If you can hear me, please write yes in the comment section. Write yes in the comment section. So what I'm saying is this. In this very dispensation, there are some certain things we are seeing, and we knew or we know that well while we are growing up, such a thing never existed. They call this generation JC generation. If we fail to achieve this Biafra, I don't think that this very JC generation will achieve this Biafra. That is why this Biafra is a task that we must accomplish. Is a task that we must accomplish. Very, very, very important. Is a task we must accomplish. Take Biafra very serious. Count yourself as a privileged person that in this very era you are part of the people that is fighting for Biafra restoration. Sometimes each time I interact with our fathers that fought Biafra war or our mothers that witnessed Biafra war, as they are narrating the story, to me, I will be so curious by asking a lot of questions. You know, sometimes I will imagine if I have been born when we are fighting this first Biafra war. I will be imagining if I was, around when they were fighting the first Biafra war. That is why I don't want anything to pass me by. But that is why I participated fully in this very dispensation, in this fight for Biafra restoration, so that the next generation to come, our children, I will boldly tell them, look at what happened. I will be giving them first-hand information. We are fighting this fight for Biafra restoration now. It's a thing of joy that you witnessed. How will I put it now? You witnessed the fight for Biafra restoration, and finally, the freedom is achieved. If you are telling the next generation the message, if you are telling them the story, about Biafra, you will be telling them in confidence and with every authority because you had first-hand experience. So take fight for Biafra very, very serious. It's a serious business. You are writing your name in the book of history. You are writing your name in the book of history. Don't think that nobody knows the role you are playing today. Even in that tiny WhatsApp, you think that it's insignificant. It's not so. It's not so. Let's keep the fire burning. Let's continue this fight. You see, Biafra. You see, Biafra. We must achieve it. We must achieve it in our own time. We must achieve it in our own time. We must achieve it. It's a task that must be accomplished. And you are not fighting this Biafra, the restoration of Biafra to America. That is one thing you have to understand today. You are not fighting for Biafra restoration for anybody. You are doing so for yourself and for your children yet unborn, for the next generation to come. For the next generation to come. Most of the countries where we are living, at a point, at a time in their history, and at a time in their life, they fought for their freedom. They fought for their freedom. That is why sometimes, after I have read several books, watched several movies on how some nations fought for their freedom, then I stopped calling people racist people. I stopped referring to some nations as racist people. You know why? You don't know what they passed through or what they went through before they could develop their country the way it is before you come to that very country. You don't know the history their fathers passed to them. You don't know the history their father told them or their parents told them or how they fought to make their country a great nation. Like country where I am, they fought war. They fought wars. When I was living in Vietnam, because one thing about me is this, I like to research and I'm inquisitive in nature. I am an inquisitive person. I approached. I noticed that the man speaks English. He's a Vietnamese man. He speaks English and he's aged enough. Then he was in his late 70s, but strong. Asia people, they have strong people. And he speaks and understands English. I approached him so that he will tell me history about Vietnam, how they could manage to defeat two world power. They defeated France and also defeated America. The man told me a lot of stories. You know, after the man told me that story, from that very time, from that very day, the man narrated the stories how they fought war. Because then they were calling them no Guata. The man narrated the stories how they fought the war, what they went through. That he himself telling me this story. He partook in the war. He was part of the people. He was part of the soldier that fought the war. He told me a lot of things. What we are suffering today, which is divide and rule, divide and conquer, what we are passing through today in this our quest and fight for Biafra, America introduced that divide and rule, but they never failed for it. Courtesy of the man they called Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh. If you can research about Ho Chi Minh, there is a city he is named after. Ho Chi Minh, Saigon. According to that man, he told me that they have northern Vietnam and southern Vietnam. That America, when they were fighting this war, they concentrated in the south. And the south was hit, bombarding them. When it comes to guerrilla warfare, Vietnamese get it top notch. There's no country in the world that can compete with Vietnam in guerrilla warfare. Ndị a na-atụ ọnụ, ndị a na-atụ ọnụ, ha ga-anọ like this war. And they used their women effectively. The women were seducing American soldiers, white soldiers. They are seducing them. They were having affairs with them. And from there, they are getting some certain information from them. And they are passing it to their soldiers, they are passing it to their men. That is why they used ambush to buy a lot of American soldiers. They used the information their women got from American soldiers to buy a lot of American soldiers. I mean the Vietnamese soldiers. That is why today in Vietnam, they don't joke with their women. They reverence their women. They honor their women. They value their women more than men. Because during the war, it was their women that penetrated American soldiers to get information from them. They used to buy them. America dropped, the man took me to where America left their armories and ran away. America ran away from Vietnamese. They ran away. So, according to the man, he said they tried to put discord between northern Vietnam and southern Vietnam. But Ho Chi Minh discovered the game American soldiers, American want to play. You know what the man did? He now traveled to northern Vietnam and told them that is the power of language. And told them that, look, northern Vietnam wanted to fall for that divide and rule game. Now they wanted to use the northern Vietnam to fight the southern Vietnam. But Ho Chi Minh said no, understood the plans and understood the game. He said no, he will not allow these guys to play this game. He left southern Vietnam to northern Vietnam and called them, the people leading the war from that axis, and told them, see, they must not fall for this American strategy that they want to divide them. After dividing them, they will not use them to fight the southern Vietnam. At the end of the day, they will be fighting each other. Then they shouldn't fall for this trap. Northern Vietnam now said, okay, is this the strategy? Is this what they are trying to do? Because southern Vietnam has more resources. Southern Vietnam are more productive than northern Vietnam. The same thing you see playing out in Nigeria is what is playing out in Vietnam. Northern Vietnam are not that industrious, but southern Vietnam, the eastern part, they are very, very industrious. So they now want to use the north. The same thing they are doing in Nigeria today. The same thing the West are doing in Nigeria today is what they tried, America tried to do in Vietnam during the war. Today in Nigeria, northern Nigeria are not as when it comes to productivity, they are not there. And funny enough, the capital of Vietnam is still in the north, which is Hanoi. The same thing, the capital of that damn nation called Nigeria is in the north. The same thing. So they never failed for the divide and rule. The same thing we are seeing today. What we are seeing today in this our fight for Biafra restoration. They tried it with Vietnam, they couldn't succeed. But look at we, our people are falling. I don't know why black people sometimes I've been asking myself, does it mean that blacks are not intelligent enough to understand the games the whites, these imperialists are playing? But I discovered that it's just that we are so selfish. Blacks are so selfish. And moreover, blacks, we put our stomach ahead of our freedom. We are selfish in nature and we are self-centered. That is why they can easily manipulate and use us. That is why these guys can easily manipulate and use us. Yes, that's the gospel truth. Just look at what is playing out in every restoration. Sometimes the people, when MNK was around, the people will often discuss about Biafra. The people will often share ideas with Biafra. Most of them today, we don't see eyeball to eyeball. We don't talk about Biafra. Then I begin to ask myself, why is it so? Why is it so? Despite all the teachings MNK taught us in Radio Biafra, and MNK told us that once you start speaking the language of the oppressor, just know you've deviated from the West for your freedom. Yes, most of these people they are speaking the same language our oppressors are speaking. They are speaking the same language, which is very, very bad. Anytime as a freedom fighter, when you speak, the thing happens to be in line with what the oppressor, being the government, are saying. Just know you have deviated from the fight or from the West for your freedom. You don't ought to speak in the same language with your oppressor. That's the gospel truth. But today, we see some people lamenting, they are buying soldier the same way the oppressors are saying. Then you will be asking yourself, does it mean these people don't understand the ethics of freedom fighting anymore? Does it mean they don't understand? So, dear friends, in conclusion of what the Vietnamese man told me, how they could succeed, how they managed to defeat America in Vietnamese War. He said they make sure that we are not used to fight each other. They never put their stomach ahead of their freedom. This coming April, next month, they will celebrate 50, was it 50 years of independence or a celebration because I'm no longer in Vietnam. But I know this coming month, they want us to do celebration. It seems it's 50 years they defeated America. Yeah, it seems it's 50 years they defeated America in Vietnam. So we ought to learn some things from them. We ought to learn some things from them. Yes. Now, the very country I am now, they only fought for freedom. Their own case, their own case, what they did to their sabo, the people that sabotaged, the people that sabotaged their freedom. You know what they did? As I'm talking to you guys today, this is almost 50 years. They fought for their freedom from France. You know what they did? They buy those people, embalmed them, and then left them in the museum with their name written, where they were hanged. And you know, in Asia, if you the way they do here, once somebody die, they will burn that person. They don't bury people the way we used to do in our own continent. No, they don't bury people here. They burn people. And anything that will make you to buy and they don't burn you, that means you committed sacrilege. Imelaro. You committed sacrilege. Imelaro. So the people that sabotaged their freedom, they make sure they apprehended them, buy them, embalm them, and hang them in their museum. I've gone to the museum. I see where they hung them. And they say, yes, that is they don't you see what that is why I said when I see what is playing out, when I see what is going on, I will be asking myself, are we really in for this freedom? Because in freedom fighting, no be child's play. Oh. You don't take nonsense, you don't take rubbish. Oh. The people that sabotage this very nation where I am today, they buy them, they bomb them, and hang them. Many years ago, people are going to those museums to see them. When they get to the museum, they will be taking them around. They will tell them, see this one, he sabotaged our freedom. You know what? You know one thing they also did before now, like 40 or 45 years ago, the people born 45 years ago, they speak French, but a certain head of state came to power and banned anything French. That this generation now they cannot speak French. They cannot speak French. The man banned French and told them they have to go back to their original language. Their original language. They fall back to their original language. They don't write French. There's nobody that is 45 years upward that can speak French here. The only people that can speak French is 45 years upward. They are the people that can speak French. But the ones coming front cannot. They make sure that anything that has to do with colonial imperialists, they cut it off. They stop it. This is what Africans don't understand. I used to work Patrice Lumumba. You'll be criticizing all these Westerners, especially in language, that you can the only criteria to know that you are intelligent or knowledgeable is how fluently you can speak English. He's critics of this English, but at the end of the day, he's still speaking the English. He's still speaking the English. Yeah. So this is what Africa failed. We failed in this area. We failed. Can you imagine? There's no how you can communicate. There's no how you can communicate without your colonizers knowing what you are saying. Because at the end of the day, you either speak French or you speak English or you speak Portuguese, and they are hearing it. But Asia here, they make sure that their colonizers, that language, they brought to them, they stopped it and adopt their own local language. They adopt their own local language. Do you think that Asians don't have natural resources? Do you see all these Westerners scrambling for their natural resources in this very dispensation? No. I could remember when Joe Biden was the president of America. He went to one summit in Vietnam. When he got there, he was addressing the delegates that came to the summit. He now tried to use Vietnam as a case study of third world country. Immediately he mentioned Vietnam as third world country. You know what happened? They switch off, they disconnect the mic. They disconnect the mic ASAP. They disconnected it. So after the whole conference, Vietnamese journalists, they were analyzing the summit. They now said, how can Joe Biden come to the soil of Vietnam and address them as third world country? On what ground? On what ground will they address them? Will he address Vietnam as third world country? So look at America, that most of the products they are using in America is being produced in Vietnam. When it comes to sneakers, clothes, most of Vietnam is producing it for them. And he has the court to refer them as third world country. Say it's not done. So they're not begging them money. That even America needs them more than them need America. America needs them more than they need America. There's nothing Vietnam don't produce. And after the era of this colonization, because these guys, they equally came to the way they colonized Africa, that's the way they colonized this Asia. After Asia get rid of them, Asia make sure that industrialization, that industrial revolution that made them to leave the shores of Europe to scramble for natural resources by going to Africa and other continents. Asia make sure that they do everything possible that to make sure that they are production country when it comes to industrialization. They make sure that they are industrialized nation. There's no country in Asia, no matter how poor that country is, most of the things they are using, they try as much as they can to produce at most 60% of the things they are using. They produce this themselves. or reconcile it with Africa, we virtually depend on importation. Sometimes I'll be asking myself, why is it so? Does it mean that we cannot produce some certain things to a point that in Nigeria, toothpick, ordinary toothpick, we are importing it? Ordinary toothpick, we are importing it. Ordinary eraser, they used to clean mistakes when somebody is writing, we import it. Does it mean that all these things we cannot produce it in our country? Does it mean we cannot produce all these things in our country? Sometimes I'll be asking myself, what is actually wrong with black skin? Because what is happening to Africa never extended to anywhere you find blacks. It's not only in Africa, oh, it extended to any place you find black people. Study them, observe them, you will discover that they are behaving exactly the way people who are in African continent or Africans are behaving. I could remember when earthquake happened in Haiti. Christian Amampo was part of the journalists that visited Haiti. And you know, people who are Haitians, they were slaves that was bought from Africa, and they settled them. Most of them some of them are from Igbos. Some are different countries. They settled them there, and they're very close to America. And they've lived there for over 400 and something years, getting to 500 years. Now, Christian Mampo said something. He said, when earthquake happened in that Haiti, the people that survived the earthquake, the people that earthquake never happened to their own side, you know what they did? They went to the places that earthquake happened. They were looting and stealing from those people. That earthquake happened to their own side or to their own region. You know? So American soldiers that went there on a rescue mission, when they discovered or when they saw what is going on, out of annoyance, they buyed some Haitians. And the Christian Amampo said something. He said, based on what he's seeing today in Haiti, that he has come to a conclusion that Africa is not a continent but an attitude. Underline this word. Africa is not a continent but an attitude. He said, what these Haitians are doing, because they are blacks, is exactly what an average African nation will do if they happens to see themselves in this very state or condition that Haitians are into. See, that is why he draw his conclusion that Africa is an attitude, not a continent. Despite that these guys, they are not in the shores of Africa and they live close to America, yet they are exhibiting the exact attitude that average African person would exhibit in Africa. Check any country, check anywhere blacks are, you will see them the way they are behaving. You will discover that it's exactly the way average Africans in the shores of Africa behave. Use America for example, the blacks there, the way they are behaving. Check the women, the way they are behaving. You will will discover it's the same way an average African woman is behaving in the shores of Africa. Are you talking about Brazil? The way blacks over there are behaving. Anywhere you see blacks, they have one attitude: self-centered selfishness is in them. Well, let me just conclude. In conclusion, like I said, Biafrans in the MNK forthcoming case, we shouldn't expect miracle. I believe in reality. That's the issue I often have with people. That's one of my guy. Each time we are talking, I'll be telling him, look at what is happening. Look at what is happening. That the coast is not clear. That things are not all right. So I'll be trying to let him know. Look at the post. Look at what is going on. He will tell me I should forget about it. That I should thank God. I should do this one. God will do this one. I say, I will tell him, forget about this thing you are talking. Each time I tell him, forget about this thing you are talking. Forget about this thing. Say, God, what does God have to do with what I'm saying now? The guy will pick offense. The guy will be angry. You say, why are you talking like this? Nobody God create you. I say, I know say that God created me. I'm telling you reality. You are telling me you are involving God in reality. It's not issue of God. I'm telling you the reality here. You are talking God. Each time I say this thing, we often have quarrel. You often have, misunderstanding or quarrel. But that time, you know, African and Christian mentality, he really, come to the country where I am. But now, something happened. I saw him yesterday as we were discussing. He told me, say, oh boy, and I understand all those things you talk that time. And I asked him, what he be that thing? He tell me, say, most of the homeboys when they don't meet here, will be old men here. That same thing, that same issue why they get with them. If they get that same issue with them, I said, what will be the issue? He said, sometimes if they follow them, they talk, they tell us, see, as this thing be, he himself will involve God. They will para for and say, why did they involve God based on the thing, see what they play, they involve God. Because as we say, does it mean, he said, whether they initiated us, the one thing, the one fraternity that made us to be talking this thing. And I laughed and said, oh boy, this is this mentality where you get now waiting they hold Africa for ransom. Now waiting they take hold Africa to ransom. The problem with Africans, especially people in Africa today, people who are living in Africa, they cannot separate reality from belief. There is difference between reality and belief. You are believing something that is not real. That is what they taught us in Christianity or in religion. They will make you to believe what is not real. And believing what is not real, they will make you to have this confidence that what is not real by miraculously become real. That is why if you present reality to somebody who have this Christian mentality in Nigeria, who lives in Nigeria, if you present the reality and present the belief to the person will prefer belief over reality. And one thing is this: reality will make you to think deep to provide solution to the reality that is facing you. But belief will make you do not proffer solution to the reality that befalls you. You will be believing that somehow, magically or miraculously, something will happen and if change will effect. But where we are living, especially this age here, is not so. They believe in reality that this thing no day here, me say no day here. There's no how you can convince an average Asian person that this thing that is not here, that miraculously to come here. You will first ask you why you speak like that. Like something before, I used to have somehow arguments when I still think the way average Africans think. Like, let me use this incident. There was a day I left house. There's some electrical appliances I didn't off. She came back and discovered I didn't off it. She now offed it. When I came back, she now called me and said, "We are leaving house and you didn't off all these things." I said, "Wow, thank God though. And this thing, and this guy in the whole house." So immediately I said, "Thank God." He now asked me, "Are you okay?" Instead of me to thank her for offing all those things, I'm talking thank God. Is it the God that offed it? This thing never happened once, never happened twice. This thing, you know, it has happened. If I must be honest with you guys, it has happened up to 6 times. The very sixth one, we had a serious issue because I said thank God, oh, thank God, oh. Had it been, she didn't off it. That this thing will burn house, even gas off the cylinder. The day that we had serious issue was the gas. I forget to off the gas. As she came back and off the gas, I came back also and she told me, "You didn't off the gas." I said, "Thank God, no." She para. A woman para. I said, "Why? What is even wrong with me?" See, if I should, if I open mouth to tell her that she tried, that she helped me, will I die? Why all the time I will make a mistake, she will correct the mistake, and at the end of the day, I will say thank God. From that day, I took correction. So, but this is what average African person will say. This is reality. This is what average African person will say. So this my guy that me and him always have argument. Each time I tell him we are discussing important something, he say, God, I will tell you, forget about this God. He say most guys that he has interacted with, the same thing I said, the same thing I'm saying is what they are saying. And I laughed and said, well, you will understand that due time. So in conclusion, please, the reality now is that MNK, these guys, APC, Tinubu campaign team, they've concluded that they will use MNK to woo the Igbos, Biafrans, to vote for Tinubu come 2027 so that he will release MNK. This is the reality. This is the reality. Anybody telling you that I saw the family number of sons Ejimako, posted that they are representing MNK and numbers of lawyers. Well, I am not discrediting him. He's doing his job. But the reality is that these guys have concluded that they will use MNK to do campaign 2027 because they are having issue with the Fulani who are controlling the north. So we want to look if we will use the west and the east to cancel the north or to get majority or popular vote. This is the reality. I greet you all. I want to open line to see if one or two people can call. I want you to call in. If you have your own suggestion, if you have whatever you can say based on this broadcast I made now, is welcome. Please like, very important, and share the program. Very, very important. Like and share the program. Please, I want to open line for you to call in. I'm seeing 13 people watching here. I want to open line so that you can call in and bring your own suggestion. The line is open. The line is open. I want you guys to call in. The people watching, I want you to call in. The line is open. The line is open. I don't know. I don't know. This is, if you can call in to bring to hear your own views or your own opinion, is welcomed. I believe the number is here. The number to call in is it right there on the screen. The number to call in. The number to call in. Can you see the number to call in? Can you see the number to call in? Can you see the number to call in? I want the people watching to call in. Just call and air your own view. Can you see the number to call in? Can you see the number to call in? I will write the number in the comment section now. It seems nobody want to call. writing the number to call in the WhatsApp number. I'm writing the number to call in the comment section. Anybody to call in. I have 12 people. I'm seeing 12 people watching here. Alright, since nobody wanna call in, I will end the broadcast because it's money here now from my location. It's money. I wanna sleep. It's money here. Nobody wanna call. Alright. I will call it a day. It's money here. I greet you all. Peace and love.